We're still in the book of ignorance. And now we've reached hesitation and doubt. This is review. The author says, may Allah have mercy upon him, doubt has two cases: doubt in conviction and doubt in other matters. Conviction is religious conviction. The slightest uncertainty about the belief in Allah or His Messenger is blasphemy. Yani, uncertainty about the belief in Allah is like the person says, I don't know if God exists. Maybe He doesn't. I'm not certain. So the slightest uncertainty about the belief in Allah or His Messenger, like he says, I'm not certain if Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Or if he's uncertain about any attribute of Allah, like he says, I'm not certain if Allah has power over the evil. Or he came in contact with a Wahhabi who confused him. And so he said, I'm not sure if Allah exists without a place. Maybe I'll just not talk about it. This is blasphemy because of his lack of certainty. And here it will be called hesitation or uncertainty, taraddud. Yani here means, when we're talking about the conviction, the religious conviction, we're going to call it hesitation or uncertainty. If someone knows his own uncertainty, but he presents himself as a faithful believer, he shows himself as certain, but he knows he's not certain, then he's truly a disbelieving hypocrite. The believer is described in the saying of Allah, إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا. The believers are only those who believe in Allah and His Messenger, then they had no doubt. Yani, no uncertainty. Then they had no uncertainty. They were not uncertain. And doubting about the validity of one's faith for no reason is blasphemy. For no reason. That means a person just says one day, without any particular case in mind, maybe I'm not a Muslim. Maybe I committed blasphemy. Let me say my shahada, just in case. That's blasphemy. As opposed to if he had a reason, like he said, now I just sat in the session of knowledge and I learned that such and such is blasphemy. Did I do that in the past in my ignorance? Maybe I did that particular case. So now, right here, this is not blasphemy. Because he might say, oh no, I didn't do that. I cleared myself of that. I'm good. So now he's not a kafir. Just the fact that he had to think for a moment and he wasn't sure, yani, there was a possibility that he committed blasphemy. In this case, he didn't commit blasphemy. Why he didn't commit blasphemy? Because he had a reason for this concern. And then in the scenario I gave you, just to make it clear for you that he didn't commit blasphemy, then he remembered, oh no, I took care of that. So there's no blasphemy here. Ameen. May Allah protect us from such doubts. An-Nasafi, the theologian, said, rahimahullah, فَإِذَا وُجِدَ مِنَ الْعَبْدِ التَّصْدِيقُ وَالْإِقْرَارُ صَحَّ لَهُ أَنْ يَقُولَ أَنَا مُؤْمِنٌ حَقًّا. Whenever internal verification as well as outward verbalized confession are found in a slave of God. Whenever internal verification, that means in his heart he believes, as well as outward verbalized confession. That means, and he said the Shahada. If this internal verification and this outward verbalization or verbal confession are found in a slave of God, صح له أن يقول, it is correct for him to say, أنا مؤمن حقا, I am a believer truly. I am really a believer. That's valid for him. ولا ينبغي أن يقول, and it is inappropriate for him to say, أنا مؤمن إن شاء الله, I am a believer God willing. So he shouldn't say, I'm a believer God willing. Rather, he should say, I'm really a believer. He believes in his heart and he professes with his tongue the Shahada, then he will be sure and he won't be hesitant about his status. But it's possible that a person says, I'm a believer, inshallah. And when he says inshallah, he's not doubting about his faith and he's only leaving all affairs to Allah. So there's no blasphemy if that's his case. Or when he says inshallah, he's seeking blessings by mentioning the name of God. When he says, I'm a believer, inshallah, then there's no blasphemy here. But if he says, I'm a believer, inshallah, I'm a believer, God willing, and his meaning is, but maybe I'm not sure, and he doesn't have any reason, there's no case in particular that justifies for him to think twice about himself, then that's blasphemy. So doubting about the validity of being a believer for a reason, like if a person said something with more than one meaning. He said a statement. This statement has more than one meaning. One of those meanings is blasphemy, yani, or some of those meanings are blasphemy, not all of them. And then he doubted whether he intended a blasphemous meaning or not. Yani, he said something, and then after he said whatever he said, oh, wait a minute. What did I mean by that? So here, he's not a kafir, because he might say, nah, I didn't mean that. That's blasphemy. I don't believe that. So he's not a kafir here. But he just had to make sure, he wanted to assess his situation to make sure he didn't commit blasphemy. Then here, there's no blasphemy. Or if he knew that some expression is clear blasphemy, some word, some expression is clear blasphemy, but he doubted if he said it or not. That clear blasphemy, yani that case in particular, not no case, but this case in particular of saying this word, that's clear blasphemy. Did I say that? Or, yani, or not just did I say that, or did I repent from that? Then this does not make the doubter a disbeliever. So if he truly did not commit blasphemy, he is a Muslim despite this doubt. However, it would indeed be binding on him to immediately rush to say the Shahada in a precautionary way. Yani, in the examples I gave you, in some of the examples I gave you, he thought, did I say that? But he might remember and say, no, I didn't say it. Now he's clear. He doesn't have to say precautionary Shahada right here because he remembered. Say, no, 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 I took care of that. So he's not a blasphemer here. But if he didn't remember right there and he said, that explicit blasphemy, did I clear myself of that? Or that explicit blasphemy, did I say that? Or that statement that has more than one meaning and some of its meanings is blasphemy, which meaning did I mean? And then he never got clarity for himself here. Then it would indeed be obligatory on him to say the Shahada in a precautionary way. And then this Shahada will benefit him if he really did fall into the blasphemy. It is not permitted for him to delay this Shahada. Ah, now somebody might say, wait a minute, in your example, he didn't delay the Shahada? No, in my example, he didn't delay the Shahada. How not? How did he not delay the Shahada? Because he, first of all, was thinking about a situation. What we are talking about here is not for a person to panic and become mindless and then just say, I'm saying precautionary Shahada. So he thought, that statement that has more than one meaning, what meaning did I intend? So he's thinking here. This is not blasphemy right here. And then if he doesn't say, oh no, let me stop thinking and altogether, I'm just going to say the Shahada. We're not saying he has to do like that. Rather, he would, for example, what would be a scenario where he's going to say precautionary Shahada? Like if he said, that statement that has more than one meaning, and some are blasphemy, which meaning did I intend? Or that explicit blasphemy, did I say that? Or that explicit blasphemy, did I clear myself of that? So he thought about it. So then, when he thought about it, he realized, no, I don't know. So there is no memory. So then he's going to say immediately the precautionary Shahada. If he really did fall into blasphemy, this will clear him. You said, if he is doubting the meaning, wouldn't that mean he didn't mean the blasphemous meaning? I didn't say he's doubting the meaning. I just want to be clear. Do you mean to ask me about something I said, or you're asking me about something else? So your question is, you said, if he is doubting the meaning, so I never said, he said a statement and he's doubting what the statement means. So I didn't say that. I said, he said a statement that can have more than one meaning, and he's doubting what he meant, not what the statement means. You understand? Okay, you're welcome. It is not permitted for him to delay this shahada because it is obligatory to maintain constant faith. Like Sheikh Zakaria said in Asna al-Matalib, استدامة الإيمان واجبة فإذا تركها كفر. Constancy or steadiness of faith is obligatory, and when someone lacks that, he blasphemes. This hesitation is not a mere involuntary thought, nor is it a whisper. So we're not talking here about a khatir or a waswasa, or the waswas. The mere thought, yani, which is the idea, some idea, the mere idea, that's not hesitation. And a whisper from the devil is not hesitation. So as for the first, the involuntary thought or a mere idea, it does not render one a disbeliever, even if it recurs, because it is involuntary. Yani something crosses mind. Something that's blasphemy, it crosses his mind. So just because it crossed his mind, just because he had an idea about it, this doesn't mean that he's doubtful about his religion, and this doesn't mean that he believes in blasphemy. And in fact, one is rewarded for hating such involuntary thoughts. And as for the second, which is the case of the waswas, the whispers of the devil, Al-Bukhari, Muslim, and others narrated that Abu Hurairah reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Ya'ti al-abd shaytan." The devil will come to a slave. فيقول من خلق كذا وكذا, and he would say, "Who created this and that?" Yani, this means now the devil is whispering to a person. حتى يقول له, until he says to him, until he eventually says to the one to whom he whispers, من خلق ربك عز وجل, who created your Lord? فإذا بلغ ذلك فليستعذ بالله عز وجل ولينته. If it went that far, if it goes that far, then let one seek refuge with Allah and stop such thoughts. Yani, let him say A'udhu Billah and distract himself from that. Let him divert his thoughts away from that and think about something else. Yani, that means don't let him sit there and dwell on the whispers. Some people, they have whispers, and it's as if they want to have the whispers. It's as if. Because they don't put any effort to ignore these whispers. They don't turn their attention away from it. They rather indulge in it, even though they know it's the whispers. And I talk to a lot of people who have waswas. Some of them, it's like, to me, it's like they want to have waswas. And yani, when I talk to them, I don't accept this talk from them. And I don't care what they think. Because yani, that's my take on it there. I could be wrong. But I don't accept. Because why I'm saying I don't accept, because some of those people, they want you to accept what they're saying to you. They have a waswas, and then you try to talk to them, and then they have something, the way they talk about the issue is like uh as if they want to keep whatever it is they claim that they're suffering from. And a lot of them, I say, a lot of people who have waswas are attention seekers, and they want to take your attention. They want to get your attention, and they're going to talk to you for hours. If you let them, they're going to talk to you for hours about themselves and all their problems and how bad the whispers are and how it's ruined their life and they don't know what to do. And then when they talk to you again next time, it's the same story. And then it's the same story. And then it's the same story. Imam Muslim, Abu Dawood, and others narrated also that Abu Hurairah reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam as saying, when any of you experience these haunting whispers, let him distract himself and say, Amantu billahi azza wa jal. Here's in the footnote. Amantu billahi azza wa jal. I believe in Allah, invincible and great. And according to Muslim, there's an additional statement that he should say, Amantu billahi azza wa jalla wa bi rusulih. I believe in Allah, invincible and great, and in his messengers. And it's transliteration in the footnote. And also, there are other statements the person can say to repel the whispers, like reciting Al Mu'awwidat, the last three surahs of the Quran, three times each, after Fajr and after Maghrib, or actually any time. But after Fajr and after Maghrib is a prescribed time for this formula. And Allah Ta'ala puts in the times secrets also. There are secrets and benefits in times. So that's why you're going to say something after Fajr and after Maghrib, or you're going to say something at Asr time, or you're going to say something some other time, in the night time, for example, because there are secrets in the times. And that's even true for magic. What I'm talking about is not magic, but it's true for magic too. The people who practice magic, they seek times of the day or night to do some things. So, al-mu'awwidat after dawn and after sunset. If you do it consistently, inshallah, it gets stronger and stronger. And any of these dhikrs, it gets stronger and stronger. And also, if you're avoiding sin while you're doing these formulas, it will be even stronger and stronger. And there are other things that a person can say for repelling the whispers of the devil. And among them is Allahu Allahu Rabbi la ushriku bihi shay'a. Allahu Allahu Rabbi la ushriku bihi shay'a. Say it twice, or just say it many times. Repeat it. Say it repetitively, and it repels the devil. So all of what we've been talking about now pertains to having some hesitation or doubt in one's conviction. Conviction is not what is meant, though, when the scholar said, doubt is deeming two matters possible without one being more evident than the other, according to the doubter, because doubt is relative. You may be doubting while I know, and someone else supposes, and a fourth person is skeptical. So one person knows, another person supposes, another person doubts, another person is skeptical, all about the same issue, and another person is utterly ignorant altogether about the issue. Or another person even has a misconception about the issue. Misconception. So all of that is relative. Conviction is not what the scholars meant when they said doubt is deeming two matters possible without one being more evident than the other, according to the doubter. Because when it comes to conviction, then the slightest uncertainty is blasphemy. Question: can you say the three types of blasphemy? The three types of blasphemy that we learn in obligatory knowledge are the blasphemy of the heart, the blasphemy of the tongue, and the blasphemy of the actions. So can I write that down? Yes, at the end, if you don't mind, remind me if I forget. So now, outside of conviction, rather, now we're talking about some information, not what you believe in, but some information that reached you. Doubt is deeming two matters possible, true or false. The two matters are true versus false. Deeming two matters possible without one being more evident than the other, according to the doubter. Therefore, the equal uncertainty about the confirmation or negation of Zayd's standing. Yani, someone told you, Zayd's standing. So you say, Zayd is standing? I don't know. Maybe he's standing, maybe he's not standing. I am not sure either way. Then this is called shak, doubt. If one of the two possibilities became more probable, then this is the speculation or the supposition or what one surmises to be correct. And skepticism is due to an unlikely possibility, what the person does not think is true. He thinks that it is not true. It's unlikely true, that is. Then he's skeptical. But it could be true, according to him, it could be true, but he doesn't believe it is. He doesn't think it is. It's unlikely to him, then he's a skeptic. It is useful to know some established rules established by the scholars of Islam. And all of this information I'm giving you, from the beginning of this booklet until the end of this booklet, all of it comes from the Sunni scholars. Praise and thanks are due to Allah Ta'ala, who gave us authentic sources of knowledge. None of this is from the philosophers. All of this is from the scholars. This is all Islamic knowledge, not from the kuffar. Nothing I'm saying is sourced from any kuffar anywhere. It's not to say that no kuffar said anything I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's not taken from any non-Muslim source. So it is useful to know some established rules upon which many judgments are confirmed. Yani, if you know these rules, then you're going to know what to do. It's useful to know some established rules so that you can know what to do sometimes. So the first rule is called adherence to the core rule. Istishabul asl. If there is a case of permissibility, yani something is halal, permissible, jaiz, or a case of prohibition, haram, or a case of validity, yani valid, then one holds fast to whatever is the core rule. Yani whatever is this case. One holds fast to this case. Unless another definitive issue comes and removes this ruling. Yani, for example, you did a marriage contract. Okay, so you got the witnesses, the guardian, the bride, the groom, or even if it were according to Abu Hanifa, and you got the witnesses and the bride and the groom, and there's no guardian. So you did a marriage contract. And as far as you know, you did everything supposed to be done. So you're going to say, what are you going to say? You're going to say, I'm married now. Okay. So then after that, something crosses your mind or someone says something to you. And now you're not sure. Say, oh, was my marriage contract invalid? So that's fine if you want to ask and everything. That's fine. But until you get confirmation that it is actually invalid, then what are you going to do? How are you going to judge your marriage contract here? Who's going to tell me? How are you going to judge this marriage contract here as valid? That's right. You're going to say it's valid. I got married. We did everything. We had the witnesses and everything. Now somebody told me something. I don't know if that applies to me. So you're not going to say, I don't know if I'm married now. Oh man, I'm not going to go home tonight. I'm not going to be alone with that woman in there. Don't do like that. You hold fast to whatever is that rule, whatever is that judgment. You hold fast to it. Unless something definitive comes and removes this ruling for you. Now I just remembered a case. A person was married and then their spouse commits blasphemy at some point. Their spouse commits blasphemy at some point. Okay, so the blasphemy is confirmed according to the scenario I'm giving you. Then the person starts doubting. So was I ever married? Uh, so do you have something that confirms for you that you were never married? You don't have something to confirm for you that you were never married? Then you're going to say, yeah, I was married until that person committed blasphemy. Because somebody might say, no, I don't know if I was ever married. So don't say it like that. There are three cases of doubt. Doubting about something fundamentally forbidden. Yani, something that is by default, yani, it is originally forbidden. Like meat. Meat is forbidden. Unless, yani, you have two spots. You have two categories. Forbidden, permissible and forbidden. You have two categories. Permissible and forbidden, these two. And then someone comes with meat. So where do you put the meat? Automatically tell them that meat, put that right over there in the forbidden category. Put the meat over there in the forbidden category. Uh, well, what if the meat is slaughtered? If it's slaughtered properly, then it's not forbidden. That's right. If it's slaughtered properly, then it's not forbidden. What's the point being made to you right now? The point being made to you right now is which one, though, gets priority when it comes to the meat? Is it just open? You're not going to say permissible, not permissible. It's just open. Or are you going to say, no, permissible, unless I think something makes it forbidden. Or you're going to say, la, that's forbidden. Not unless there's something that makes me, that grants me access to it. When it comes to the meat, you're going to say forbidden, unless what grants me access to it is verified. So doubting about something that's fundamentally forbidden, like meat. So you're doubting about meat. So, like doubting about meat in a town of Muslims and Majus. Why a town of Muslims and Majus here? Because you can eat the slaughter of Muslims and you cannot eat the slaughter of Majus. So you are in a town that has Muslims and Majus. And let's say they both slaughter the same way. They both cut the throat. I don't know if the Majus really do, I'm just saying. Let's say in this town they do. And then you in this town, you came across such meat dangling in the window. So can you buy this and eat it? You cannot. Eating it is forbidden because of doubting about what legalizes it, that it's the slaughter of a Muslim. You don't know. So it's forbidden for you. Doubting about something fundamentally forbidden, then you're going to stick to it being forbidden. So I think it's clear for you that in order to implement what I'm telling you now, you need to know the status of the meat. You need to know the status of the meat, which is that it is fundamentally forbidden for you. Some people, they don't know that. They don't believe like that. They think meat is fundamentally permissible for them. They will therefore eat any meat, and they will not allow you to put any doubts into their hearts whatsoever, no matter what you say. You know, you're going to eat this meat. I mean, so those people are going the wrong way. Also, doubting if a woman is eligible for marriage or if she is his nursing sister. So if you have a doubt here, then she is not lawful for you, because what's the judgment of a woman for you, oh man? What's the judgment of the woman fundamentally? That she is forbidden for you. You're not going to say, here's a woman, she is lawful for me for no reason, just because we both exist. So, no, you're going to say, this is a woman, she is unlawful for me, unless what grants me access to her is verified, which is the marriage contract. But if she might be your nursing sister, you can't marry her, because you can't marry your nursing sister. Marrying her is invalid because access to the private parts is strict, and access to the meat is strict. It is also invalid to marry someone without knowing that one's gender, like a problematic hermaphrodite. A problematic hermaphrodite cannot get married. Problematic hermaphrodite, khunfa mushkil, that's a person, this person doesn't even know his own gender in reality, not like these silly kuffar these days. We talk about gender fluidity and some silly things like that. So, doubting about something fundamentally forbidden. So, if you know what the judgment of this thing is that you're doubting about, that it is fundamentally forbidden, then you're going to say, I cannot engage in this because I'm doubtful about what grants me access to it. Then there's doubting about something fundamentally permitted, like water, using water for purification. What's the judgment of using water for purification? It's permissible. Yani some water. This water right here or this water right here. I'm not talking about someone's personal property, private property. I'm just talking about some water somewhere. You can use this water or you can use that water. So it's permissible. You're not going to say, I can't use the water. I don't know if what grants me access to this water is verified. It's just water right there in the stream. Like finding altered water and not knowing if it was altered by filth or by being stale. If it were altered by filth, that means it's najasa. You can't use it if it's najasa. Or if it's changed just because it's old and stale, then you could still use this water for wudu or ghusl. So you found it altered and you're not sure what altered it. Was it najasa or is it just stale? Then this water is valid to use for purification because it is fundamentally permissible to use water. You're really now doubting about what forbids you from this water. Now you have a doubt about what forbids you from this water. It's not verified for you. What forbids you from this water is not verified for you. Then you're going to say, this water is useful to me. I can use it. And it's valid. You say, how about if it were altered by chlorine? As long as you still call it water, then it's valid to use it. That's the rule. Which Yani is usually the case. Usually the case. I never saw any swimming pool that has chlorine and thought to myself, this stuff isn't even water anymore. So as long as it's still water, you can use it. Is that clear answer for you, inshallah? I mean, and then there's doubting about something without knowing it's fundamental. Like taking money from someone who has both lawful and unlawful money. Yani, you know he has lawful money and you know he has unlawful money. And he wants to give you some money. And you don't know the source of the money he's giving you. Which one is it? Is it the lawful money or the unlawful money? In this case, it is permissible for you to take this money. But it's avoided, meaning it's makruh, disliked, better to refrain. So, like for example, a crackhead comes to you to sell you something. So you might say, where did he get this stuff from? Did he steal this? Or this is his own stuff? Then you can buy it from him because you don't know. You don't know the source. Now, the second rule is tossing doubt. If during a fourfold prayer, one doubted if he prayed 3 cycles or 4, he goes by certainty, and therefore he must perform one more cycle. Because if he's doubting, did I pray 3 or 4? That means he's sure that he did how many? Tell me. If someone is doubting if he prayed 3 cycles or 4 cycles, then that means he's sure that he prayed how many? 3. Correct. So when we say he's doubting if he prayed 3 or 4, don't get confused there. Because it really means he's sure he prayed 3 and he's not sure if he did 4. So then he goes by certainty. You go by your certainty. You don't go by your doubt, you go by the certainty. And therefore, you must perform one more rak'at. Even if you really are praying a 5th rak'at, you still need to stand up and do it. It will not benefit him to think that he performed 4, just to think that he did, but he's doubtful. He says, probably I did. I think most likely I did 4. Then that's not enough for him to settle with it. And it is useless to make a determination in this case. No ijtihad will help him in this case. Nor is it permissible for him to take someone else's word. Like someone, when you stood up for the next rakat because you're doubtful. Then someone said, nah, sit back down, sit down, sit down. I watched you the whole time. You don't take his word here unless he actually reminds you and you remember. But if what he's saying doesn't jog your memory and you are really in your own self doubtful, you don't take his word and you stand up and pray, even if really that was the 5th rakat. That's valid. That's your duty. That's the Shafi'i school, though. This procedure I'm giving you, that's the Shafi'i school. The source of this is what Muslim narrated, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِذَا شَكَّ أَحَدُكُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِ, when one of you doubts in his prayer, فَلَمْ يَدْرِ كَمْ صَلَّى, not knowing how many he prayed, أَثَلَاثًا أَمْ أَرْبَعًا, 3 or 4, فَلْيَطْرَحِ الشَّكْ وَلْيَبْنِ عَلَى مَا اسْتَيْقَنَ, then let him toss the doubt and build on what he was sure about. So that's the evidence for this procedure. And then there's a third rule. Considering a case's validity or invalidity to presently be as it previously was. Considering a case's validity or invalidity to presently be as it previously was. So in the hadith of Al-Bukhari, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the complaint of a man who imagines that he passes gas in the prayer, but he is not certain. So it sounds like he has waswas. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا ينفتل أو لا ينصرف حتى يسمع صوتا أو يجد ريحا. He does not move, meaning he does not abandon the prayer. He does not interrupt his prayer unless he hears a sound or smells an odor, because then he's going to be sure. But what makes him not sure? Because he's not sure if he felt a bubble. So he's imagining that he passed gas because as if he experienced a bubble there. So this imaginary bubble, this unconfirmed bubble, you ignore it. This means that he does not abandon the prayer unless he is certain that the impurity took place. Therefore, based on this rule, if someone were sure that he made purification, wudu, if someone were sure that he made wudu, he's sure he made wudu, but he's doubting if he broke it, he's doubting if he committed an impurity, then how does he consider himself? He considers his purification as valid because that's what he's sure of. He's sure he made wudu. He's doubting if he broke it. And here you follow this rule and you don't say I'm going to make wudu just in case. This is very important unless you want to be haunted by the devil. Because if the devil notices about you that you will take your doubt as evidence, you will build on your doubt and you will make your doubt make you act, then what do you think he's going to do to you? He's going to throw doubts in your heart about everything. You're going to wind up being one of those people trying to make wudu, washing your face like 10 times, thinking you missed the spot. I missed a spot. Did I miss a spot? Did I miss a spot? And you're going to be one of those people who, like, what? Like, you can't leave the house. You think you turned your stove on. You left your stove on. I left my stove on. Let me go back. Your stove's off. Your stove's off and your stove's always off. But you're letting the devil play with you. Or, for example, you put your keys in your pocket. You know you put your keys in your pocket. And then you go to leave your house. So what's the devil going to do to you? He's going to say, oh, do you got your keys? So then what you going to do? So if you let the devil play with you, you're going to say, oh, let me check. You know you got your keys. Why are you going to check? And if you have stronger heart here, you're going to say, be gone, devil. I have my keys. I'm not going to check. If, on the other hand, one were sure of impurity, he was sure he was impure, and he was doubtful if he lifted it by making purification. So what he's sure of is the impurity, and what he's doubting is if he made wudu. Then he's going to consider that his impurity remains. Then he's going to consider that his impurity remains. And then he's going to go make wudu. Because the impurity is the certain issue, and the purity is the doubtful issue. So you leave out the doubtful issue, and you go by what is confirmed for you. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Allah knows best. Any question? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you write that dua down? Yes. Ameen wa fikum. Yeah, here it is. Allahu Rabbi la ushriku bihi shay'a. Allahu Rabbi la ushriku bihi shay'a. Question, what about the intention? Your question is not clear for me, Sayyidi. Can you clarify your question for me, please? What about the intention that might occur to one? It's not clear for me what you're asking me. Doubting the intention. Doubting the intention. This case has details because it depends on the issue. Like if he doubts his intention in the prayer, it might be that he has a long doubt, or he has a short doubt, but he had that short doubt while he completed an integral, or something else. So there's details there. And what if he doubted about his intention for fasting and it's the middle of the day? This needs some bahth, that needs some review and research to put the information together. It's a good question. So maybe, inshallah, if I compile something there, and perhaps I'll put it into a footnote here. I think the body here is complete. But that's a good question. That would be a helpful footnote. Yeah, someone just posted that dhikr. I think this is the French, though, the French transcription system. Allahu Rabbi la ushriku bihi shay'a. Because of the OU. That's how I know sometimes I'm talking to a brother or sister who speaks French. When they say Barakallahu feek, it says Barakallahu has OU in there. I say, this must be a French speaker. What about the ablution intention? You mean doubting about the intention for ablution? So that's what I'm saying to you. This issue, the question itself, is a detailed one. Because there's... What do you say about that for the prayer? What do you say about that for the fasting? What do you say about that for the wudu, for example? That all that needs a bahth so that that information can be compiled and put together, and then like have the cases there, insha'Allah ta'ala. You missed the last hadith's issue. The last hadith's issue. So the last hadith is that the Prophet said about that man, he does not move, yani he does not interrupt his prayer unless he hears a sound or smells an odor. So the issue was that the man is doubtful if he passes gas in his prayer. Yeah, I said seems he has waswas, this one. Because that's the behavior of people who have waswas. He'll stand in the line and then he'll just leave out the line. And then if you ask him, what happened to you? He'll say, I wasn't sure if I broke my wudu or not. I wanted to go make it again. That's how the devil will play with a person. No, not he was complaining to the Prophet about it. The Prophet received a complaint about him. Yes. In the hadith of Al-Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ received the complaint of a man who imagines that he passes gas in the prayer. Ameen. MashaAllah. So we're going to stop there. We're moving right along, inshallah. We'll talk about delusion and imagination next week if Allah enables us.